Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Flores. Gonzalez.
Here.
Hussein.
Here.
Jost. Masajak.
Here.
Pelletier here. Puzo. No.
So we're gonna go through the minutes. So let's get the clear one. So let's first, I'll make a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes from June 9th, 2022. Second. The only little thing I saw was that at the top, Board of Trustees met Thursday, June 9th, packets were distributed in person by Tuesday, June 9th, so it was just June 7th. Instead, that was just very minor, but.
Change.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I didn't even notice that, but good job.
Once in a while, I'm, on top of it, right? They'll just be as amended, so.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the regular board meeting minutes from June 9th, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, next. I'll make a motion to approve the special board meeting minutes from June 9th, 2022. So this was the extra walkthrough, so, yeah. Questions, comments?
All those in favor of approving the special board meeting minutes from June 9th, 2022, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
One, I will make a motion to approve the special board meeting minutes from June 5th, 2022.
I'll second
I just can't write that stuff. Oh, sorry, we can slow down too.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the July 5th board meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
I had to abstain because I wasn't there.
Okay, got it. And any opposed? And then one abstain.
All right. Next, public comments, agenda items only. It's just us here. President's report, well, I'll just say big congrats to Karina and Jess for their Isle Day Awards. That was very exciting and very, very well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not entirely surprising, amazing, but yeah, we're very happy, both of them, and continue to be grateful for everything they put into our library, so. Welcome to Jan. Hope that start is going smooth and.
Yeah, it seems to be. So I wasn't here the first week that she was here, but she seems to fit right in, and she's bringing a lot to the department already. And I've spoken with Karina and Bettina about how she's fitting in and stuff. It seems like it's going really well. I think it'll be a great addition to the marketing department. So
Great. And best of luck to Edmund. I hope whatever his next chapter is a
his husband is. It had always been kind of their goal. His husband was for the FAA. And so he got a job in DC, so made it better for him. And so I was following him out there, but also has got a really nice job for himself already in Plymouth as well.
Great.
So yes, I think that he should do well out there. So it's kind of always been their goal. So I'm excited for them. But
Yeah, that's all I have. So we can go right into committee reports, and we'll do finance first.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports for June,
you can do it both.
June 30th, 2022 and July 31st, 2022. ledger, any
I'll second.
questions?
Yeah.
So few of us.
I know.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
The ledger, any questions? We're still at Fifth Third.
Yeah, so, well, we have a resolution that Fifth Third, or that Wintrust wants that we're gonna do tonight, but, we actually just got word yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the day before, that all the accounts have been open at Wintrust, so, we have a weekly, call with them just to touch base and make sure we're on track and stuff, so we had a meeting with them this morning, with the Wintrust people this morning. New credit cards have been approved, and we've gotten those from Wintrust. The accounts are now open at Wintrust, so now Suzanne and I will start to transition stuff, like direct deposit stuff from like Cook County, from taxes, we'll change all that, so that will go into the Wintrust accounts, and then, work on starting to transfer some of the account monies that we don't need immediate access to, and then we're gonna order some checks and that kind of thing, so we're right on track with that, and things are going really smoothly, so I don't anticipate any real big issues. at
We
this
just
point.
wire transfer it though, right?
For now, we may write a check, we'll have to see, so just because we've got like, special reserve, I'm probably not gonna touch for a while, petty cash, we're actually getting rid of the petty cash account, we're just going to three accounts, of when we move to Wintrust, so some of those monies I can transfer over so that once we get checks from Wintrust, we can start to pull money out of that, so it's just gonna be a process of keeping enough money in our accounts to pay the bills that have to be paid until we get everything transferred over, and they say that normally takes about 6 months just to get everything transferred.
Oh, okay.
So, but we're, like, everything's going very smoothly, but we are, all of this, what you're seeing right now is still coming out of Fifth Third.
The income statement, well, you want to do, no, on June 30th. Look at that one first. Any questions?
So on the check register, can you just clarify what, in between 6536 and 6537, those two, for Cook and Coker, Pitney Bowler, so what is that's the ACH one, ACH two?
Oh, so those were ACH transfers from the operating account to
Gotcha.
Cook and Coker,
Okay.
the insurance group, and then for Pitney Bowes. So those were that was the option, the way that we can pay them versus check.
So as opposed to actual written checks, those are
Oh,
ACH transfers.
okay.
Okay.
Which is like a wire transfer, but not. They don't charge you for it usually, so,
Yeah.
I forget what it stands for.
Yeah, I'm not gonna think of it.
I know, but anyway.
Automated.
Automated
Yeah.
check, no, I don't think that's it, but
Yeah.
it's some kind of automated.
It's kind of like, selling your friend money, only this is through businesses.
So you can do your
But you're
property,
gonna do this every month?
Transfer, or if you have your mortgage on it.
property taxes,
Yeah,
you do it through ACH.
taxes, yeah.
That wasn't a code we normally saw, so I was just,
Yeah.
wanted to see.
So you-
Yeah,
do
it
this
is a
every
little
month, though?
unusual for us. Took a little figuring out, actually.
We probably won't do it, maybe for Pitney Bowes in the future, but, the Cook and Coker one, or Coker one, we didn't get a bill for one of our insurance payments, like, it was, and so they needed it by a certain day, so we just did the transfer because that got credited right away, and we didn't have to worry about waiting. Yeah, so.
Got it.
Yeah, so normally we would probably still pay those with a check, but
Oh,
in this
okay.
instance, ACH was an option for us that worked, and so. But it just gives you guys a clear idea that it's not, this is all the money just coming out of the accounts, not just the checks.
No, I think it's being very transparent, I
Yep.
think it's good, but yeah.
Then I get
It's
seen, you're like, what does
I
that
was like,
mean?
yeah, I was just like, okay, well, yeah, what's that, so.
I have a question about 6553 at the bottom of the page. What is the TIAA commercial finance assessing? What's that for?
That's our copy machine
Oh.
contract. So
Okay.
that's the funding organization that we pay that check to. Pay that check to, that we pay that our contractual obligations go to them.
Okay.
We're going to July 31st.
It's like shady, even though the property taxes.
And they probably won't come till December, so, yeah.
Any more questions?
Vote. Can I just call who's here? I'm sorry, for the vote, can I just call the people that are here? Or
Yeah.
when you call, you know? Oh, okay. I think I've done that in the past. Gonzalez? Here. Oh, we're
Yes.
voting on the financial reports from June and July?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Hussein?
Yes.
Mesa Jack?
Yes.
Pelletier, yes.
Okay, so facilities, I feel like our facility reports will be more, you know, maybe next month we'll see like what bids are coming in.
Yeah, so I did actually get, well, there's a couple things going on. So I did, John Shales was actually on vacation as well, in Spain, so he just got back too. So Jason Kunis, who helped
Your
us.
bestie.
Yeah, so is helping out with some of the bid process stuff too. So he's been out a couple times, and I just got the draft documents from John earlier today, and he and I have a call scheduled for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to go over those and make sure everything is right, so we'll get those sent out. And then I would imagine we'll have more information starting in September, or if we need to call something, you know, special board meeting before that, but I don't anticipate that that will be the case, just given the timing.
Yeah.
The other big thing that's happened in terms of the building is that one of the HVAC units that's over the new old Cooperman room, the big meeting room right outside my office, clogged, one of the drainage things clogged, and it all flooded in that room. So I'm happy to take you up if you all want to see. The ceiling is all opened up in there. We pulled out all the wet drywall from the ceiling and the insulation. So the fan's been running. We're getting that dried out. One of the advantages of our relationship with SMC is they actually have carpenters on staff that will come and help us take care of that. So we figured that was kind of a no-brainer to have them come out and do this for us. So I'll get some pricing on that. Hopefully it won't be too much. It's mostly at this point replacing a little bit of insulation above there, and then the drywall and painting the ceiling. So I'm a little concerned because we do have regular preventative maintenance from Midwest Mechanical, who manage our HVAC system. And we have had issues in that room before with something similar leaking in the past. And so I'm a little concerned as to why this was not checked regularly as part of our PM. So we have some calls into Midwest Mechanical to kind of, you know, make sure, A, that that it continues to get inspected during our quarterly inspections, but then Ed is also going to make a point to check it on a monthly basis. And we'll try to get some answers as to why this happened, because, you know, we at first thought it was that the roof was leaking, because it was right after we had all the rain.
Yeah.
and it's not the roof. And Ed went up there and looked at it, and then John Shales was actually here to look at something else, but he took a look at it as well. And we determined that it was something drainage issue with the HVAC unit, so.
So does the unit have to be repaired
The
or
unit does
replaced?
not have to be repaired or replaced as far as I am aware. The issue appears to be with a drainage tube getting clogged. And that,
Which should be
so-
performed during quarterly maintenance.
One would think, so
Yeah.
I'm not, we need to find out why that didn't happen, or if it had happened last time, what built up so quickly this time. So we are, like I said, we have a couple calls into Minnesota Mechanical. Kevin, who is our regular PM person who comes out, I think he's due out next week, so we'll speak with him to try to get a little bit more information and to make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future.
And thus far, have you been happy with the Weston family?
Yeah, we really are, I mean, basically, so it's really unusual for this to happen like this, so, because basically they're really on top of things and, you know, have been very good about suggesting things to minimize damage or, you know, that will be better for the library in the long term and those kinds of things, so, so we'll just have to see, you know, try to get some more answers as to why this exactly happened. But like I said, overall, we are really happy with them, and they really understand the units in the building and stuff like that, so, you know, could just be a fluke thing as well, but, yeah. That is not, well, you know, I mean, there's water everywhere and stuff, but
How old is the
luckily.
unit? Is it?
I don't know how old that particular unit is, because there's, I mean, what is there, 11 on the roof
Yeah, I
or
know.
something, so I'd have to find out exactly which one it is,
Yeah,
and then I
because you
could
have to
tell
know
you.
where it is
Right.
because of that.
So I know it's over the Cooperman room somewhere, but I don't know, you know, if there's two there, if there's one. I have not been on the roof myself, and I probably won't ever go on the
No,
roof
that's
at this
okay.
building.
That's not to be in your job.
But, yeah, so I mean, I do not believe that it's one of our older ones, but I don't quote me on that, I would have to find
Well,
out.
because, you know, water goes wherever,
Right.
and it could be one from a newer unit that.
Yeah, so well, like I said, they're due out next week, and Ed and John Chales were both up there, it's all unclogged, everything's working fine, it's drying out, so it's just, that's just been the latest thing.
Is it covered under any of our insurance?
It probably is. I think that given, it looks bad because there's a big gaping hole in the ceiling, right? Because we had to pull down all the wet drywall and pull out the wet insulation. But I don't believe it's gonna cost us as much money to repair, so I don't know if it's even worth it to file the claim, you know, with the deductible and, you know, have it ding against our building insurance and stuff. So I'll wait to see what that pricing is, but, you know, we'll just have to, unless it's like thousands of dollars, which I don't anticipate, I think that we would just, and we have the funds that we can just pay for it, because I think it'll be fairly reasonably priced, so. But yeah,
Okay.
it's always something.
That's
Nothing has to happen to the floor underneath?
The floor, well, you know, the carpet got wet, we got a shop vac, it sucked up most of that, we've had fans in there, dehumidifiers going. It's all concrete under the carpet, so I'm not really as worried about that. My main concern was like mold in the drywall and in the insulation, so that was really the most critical thing for me to make sure we got all of that out, and we did. So, you know, once the ceiling is repaired and stuff, and we'll do some more cleanup on there, we'll look at the carpet and decide whether or not, you know, what we want to do with that and stuff. Right now, most of that is just being used for storage, so, but, you know, eventually we want to turn it back into the floor and stuff, so. But yeah, it's always something. But, you know, no equipment got damaged or
I was
anything like
just gonna
that,
ask
which
you
was
that
kind of
question.
amazing. Because we have a bunch of laptops in there, because that's where OSG has been working on things when they've been out, so those were all fine. We've got the big poster printer, which
Yeah.
was $5,000. We've got the laminator in there, there was all kinds of, marketing materials and stuff like that, because they use it for a lot of storage for that, but none of that stuff got damaged, so I think we're doing pretty good, so, but yeah, just like I said, not what we thought we would have to deal with this week, but never a dull moment, so. But yeah, so I think, but as far as like the other stuff for the building things, like I said, John's got all those bid documents ready to go, so we'll start that process and kind of see where we're at.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like we got lucky with the location.
Yeah, it's,
Could have
you
been a
know,
lot worse.
yeah, and Watercliff is so much damage and stuff. You know, and Ed is trying to be like really careful. I'm like, no, I said, rip everything that's even slightly damp out of this out of this room. I said, we can't have anything that's even slightly damp, so.
Yeah.
He probably would not have been as aggressive as I made him, but I said, having gone through this with my house and different things, I said, we're not,
Well, yes.
yeah, that's fine. I didn't do anything with that, so. Yeah, yeah, so we can really tell based on the smell that it is drying out and everything, but, yeah, so we
There's
have.
no windows.
There is no windows in there, so we've got fans, we've got the dehumidifiers, there, yeah, doors, the doors closed, yeah. Anyway, that was our assignment for the week.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Okay, well, thanks for that update. So policy, we do have some policies to approve, which are under new business, so we'll get there. So staff reports. Is there anything you wanted to add, or how, I mean, you know, got your little facility update?
I don't think there was anything I needed to add to my written report, unless anyone has any specific questions. Summer reading was a huge success this year.
Yeah.
That's Courtney's report and stuff, and we finished out the year with the program this summer with the Bubble Bus program on Saturday. Mohammed was there, it was really successful, I think, and Karina came out and took some great pictures. We did it in conjunction with Niles, and then the special ed district, and then Forest Preserve people were all out, so it was a nice event. The weather was nice. The Bubble people kept commenting on how nice everyone was and how friendly, and they actually drove up from St. Louis because there isn't one of these any closer
Wow.
to book. Yeah, isn't that crazy? You would think that Chicagoland there'd be, but there isn't, so.
Yeah, great to hear that the summer reading program was so
Yeah, it was great,
successful.
and it was nice to be able to do the end of the program event with Niles and everything, so.
Good.
Because, you know, so many of our patrons go to, you know, the area libraries, and so it was really fun to see the people that, you know, went to both libraries, and
Yeah.
new people from both libraries.
Yeah, yeah. I know that you addressed it and Karina addressed it. I know that it was not how we were hoping to have July 4th go.
Right.
And I know that that really shook everyone with Highland Park being so close. So, and that's usually, you know, it's usually a great day. So I
Yeah,
hope everyone is
especially
very-
2 years after it not being there, and we ordered a lot of candy.
Yeah, yeah. I think everyone was really looking forward to that.
And we all were, and it was really, so we're gonna be giving candy away and everything, we think, for the next few months, but,
Right.
yeah, it was, you know, I mean, I know I was in contact with some of you on that day and stuff, but yeah, it was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, we do still appreciate the efforts that we're going in to try and organize, so,
But we've been at, you know, I did the Bubble Bus thing. Melissa and Karina went to the National Night Out, so we had representation there. We've been at the Farmers Market a couple times this summer, so, you know, we're still getting out there and doing different things like that. But this is always a fun event
Yeah.
to do that. And, yeah, so, yeah, unfortunate.
yeah. I'd also like to do another shout out to Jess. Like, did you guys see that, how she met with someone from the San Francisco Public Library about starting a lemonade stand at their branches? So, I mean, it's just, you know, it just speaks to the creativity and the uniqueness that we have, that libraries across the country want to hear from someone like Jess. Again, not surprising because Jess is amazing, but
Yeah,
that's
they
very
really
cool.
are.
Yeah.
It's, we have so much talent in our little library. I mean, we just really do. I mean, the staff is just really, I mean, you know, the library and the community is, I think, sometimes I don't know that people recognize how lucky we are and how fortunate the library is, especially a library of our size, to have the talent that we do. And I think it's great for the community. It's great for our library. You know, I mean, something like the awards that Karina and Jess have won. I mean, we're represented twice on that list, and we're not that big, right? I mean, and so it's very gratifying to see the awesome work that the staff does to be recognized in the library communities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Any other questions or comments? Any highlights anyone want to? All right.
Wait, I did have one thing. In your report, I think what was your report? Did you mention something about the roof needing to be done sooner than, or was that about the thing that you just talked about, like when you thought it was? Did I read that somewhere?
In facility section, page 2.
Oh, no, those were, that actually is a holdover. I kept that in there because those have not been addressed yet.
Okay.
They're
So it's
not
not-
related to the issue that we had with flooding. It was when a couple of roofing companies came out to give us quotes on the roof, they noticed that there was some work that probably should be done sooner.
Okay, that's not
It's-
new though, this is
it's
just
separate.
continued.
Yeah,
information,
it's just
still that-
continued, yeah, I kept it there because it hasn't been addressed.
Okay, good. Maybe not good, but.
Right. It's
So
not,
it's
it's
not
not,
another
it's not another new roofing issue, yeah.
Okay.
Stats. Right. Okay, so, we'll chat about, I'll open up a motion, so I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-0811, resolution authorizing banking transfer to Wintrust NA.
I'll second
Just to officially.
Yeah, so this is just a paperwork that that Wintrust has asked that we provide them with, that, you know, the board has officially approved us transferring the monies. I know we've been talking about it for a while, but this makes it official. This resolution was actually prepared by the library attorney as well, so you've reviewed it. Yeah. It's more just, you know, paperwork they have to check off their list that
Yeah.
they've got.
Great. Any questions?
We don't have to put any amounts, there's no amounts on here, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay, can vote on that. Hussein?
Yes.
Mesa Jeff?
Yes.
Pelletier, yes. Gonzalez?
Yes. Great. Okay, so next, so you have the staff in-service day, so you need permission to close the library, is that what I'm
Yes.
gathering? Okay.
Basically, yeah, so I just included what, so far as our tentative agenda for the day, obviously, we're still working on getting everything finalized, but before we go any further, I wanted to get official permission to close for the day.
Why are we doing it now for November? Just, you have to do it so many months in advance?
Just so that we can also get it in the newsletter
Okay.
when it comes out, so because of the
future
timing of the newsletter, so that it's just,
I just
yeah.
wanted to know.
If we can figure it out, and that way too, no one is, I'm not waiting, so people aren't planning programs for that day or other things, so if I do it far enough in advance, it
Okay.
means that people know that they can be there and that kind of thing, so.
Well, okay, I will make a motion to approve the closing of the library for staff in-service on Friday, November 4th, 2022.
I'll second it.
Mesa Jeff?
Yes.
Pelletier, yes. Gonzalez?
it. Yes.
Hussein?
Yes.
So, well, I mean, Pam, Mohammed, anyone's welcome to kind of take us through the,
I know Tamara is the chair, do you want me to go over the
I
suggested
usually do.
changes?
I was on vacation.
That's right, I think
Oh, that's
Mark
right,
was there,
okay.
so I will go ahead
I'm the lone
and
representative, but I wasn't.
start
there.
at that.
gotcha, okay, okay.
Capital assets, there was no real changes to the policy, just we have to review this as required by the auditors. So that has pretty much stayed the same. So does anyone have any questions about this policy? Like I said, it's the same one that we usually don't make any changes to it. It stays fairly stable. The interlibrary loan policy, again, no real changes. Just some clarification about renewals on that. So, and this applies to things that are gotten outside of CCS. So we're talking about it kind of in the library world when we talk about intra-library loan. That's what we're usually talking about when we're doing stuff that we're getting from other CCS libraries. When we're talking about interlibrary loans, it's everything that's outside of the consortium. So we have, that used to be the only way that we could get materials from other libraries, but obviously that has changed, and we get very, very few stuff from interlibrary, actual interlibrary loan any longer, but obviously we still need to have the policy, so there's that. Library card registration policy, nothing substantive changing. I just updated some grammatical things, kind of some style guide things. We capitalized library when it refers to our library. Clarified who's responsible for checkouts on some of our special use cards, and then on the non-resident cards, just cited the actual statute that pertains to non-resident use cards. I figured as part of the policy that I thought was more appropriate. We had something a little bit more casual in our current policy, but I think when there is statute that affects what we do, I believe that we should include it in there. That's what I've done.
Yeah.
So that's that. Proctoring is just, again, adding some style guide things with numbers. So again, no substantive changes to that. We haven't done much proctoring since kind of post-pandemic stuff. Used to do more than we have, but it's slowly picking up again. So there's that. The biggest change was in the spending policy. In discussions with the policy committee, we did talk, usually those meetings are pretty quick, but we did spend some time talking about the spending limits. I was originally suggesting bumping them up a little bit to 10,000, given inflation, some other things happening, just the cost of things, from the current 7,500 about getting permission. The policy committee actually suggested bumping it up to 15,000. So I don't have real strong feelings either way. I do think their thinking was that, especially with a lot of the work that's coming up, in order to assist us in moving in a more quick manner, that maybe bumping up that spending limit without having to come back to the board would help expedite some of those processes. But again, we wanted to bring it to the full board, so that is the biggest change. So,
They doubled the amount.
was their suggestion, yeah.
I
So
think that's a bit much.
we actually, so this didn't come up, this came up and another director had asked it, and so there was a poll of, what spending limits were at a bunch of different libraries throughout northern Illinois, basically. And so the majority of them, I didn't pull it together for this, but the majority of them were about $10,000 to $12,000. So, but it just, it just varies. So if the board is not comfortable with that amount, that doesn't have to be that amount, it doesn't have to change at all. It's whatever the board feels comfortable doing, so.
Anyone have?
And I'm just thinking, it's a lot to double it. With all the competition there is with, people wanting. These are for bids, correct? I mean, if it's less, more, over 7,500.
Not just bids, but any sort of.
Right, any
yeah.
expense. I get that. It just seems a bit much to double it.
Are you more comfortable leaving it as is, or to 10,000?
No, I'm thinking if you want to raise it, that's fine. I just like to know what.
That's okay, no.
I mean, when you are spending $7,500, you want different companies, whatever, to say, okay, I can do it, and this is what I can give you. A little bit more competition with it, not within the board or the library, but with our vendors.
Okay.
That's how
Well,
I
something
feel.
I can suggest if we'd like to, one, hear the viewpoint of the rest on the policy committee that did come up with this number, and two, and if we're not sure, you're just kind of pondering, we can table approving this one and just approve the other ones and wait until we have kind of the rest of the policy committee here too, and so we can kind of have their
That's totally
viewpoint
fine.
as well.
I would like to point out that bumping the limit doesn't change the requirement that we try to do when we have any kind of job like this, where we try to get 3 quotes on something.
So that's all staying the same.
That,
So it's-
that all
there's-
stays the
there's
same,
still-
so
there's
if you
still
look at
be
number
bids.
1, yeah,
Right.
so it doesn't change that. So basically, what the change in number is, do I as a director have permission to approve something once I get those quotes from as many vendors as we can? Up to what amount can I approve that without bringing it to the board ahead of time? So basically, that's what that number is. So if that helps at all, but I mean, we can leave it the same, we can table it, we can do whatever the board wants, so. But it doesn't change the dollar amount doesn't change our practice of wanting to get 3 quotes for things
No,
when
I
we
get
can.
that, but you're getting the 3 quotes on anything 15,000 but less than 25,000. But if something is 10,000, you don't need to get 3 quotes?
Oh, I see what you're asking now.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
No,
the
it's
way- the way
anything,
it's
it's
worded.
anything up to that amount. So it's not,
No, it says expected to be over 10,000, over 7,500, the way it used to be.
I see what you're saying, okay, I see what you're
That's
saying.
where, that's my
Okay.
question.
Okay.
It's, that's a lot of money, 15,000. If you just spend
Without-
15,000.
without
any,
I guess.
Or, let's say 14,500, you
Right.
don't have to go out for bid. It just is a lot of money.
Right, no, I
Where
understand.
I can see these
Yep.
vendors competing one way or another. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
buy or
think
have done.
some of that is, and we can address this as well, so it sounds to me that maybe this needs to be tabled for a couple
I
of
agree.
different reasons. That I think number 1 probably is not written as clearly as it could be, because it really isn't anything that's between 7,500 and 25,000. I mean, anytime there's something that's over a couple thousand, we always try to get quotes on it, depending on what it is, right? I mean, there are some things that, it's like there's one company that does it, that sort of thing,
Well, right,
so.
right, I get
So the
that.
range could essentially be bigger, it could be something 2,000, 20,000.
Right, and we
something
can,
like that.
and we don't have that necessarily written into the policy, but we can do that if that's what the board wants to do, is to write that in there, or at least change the way that point number 1 is written so that it's more clear, and say, the board can say, we want to see, 3 quotes on things that are over $2,000 or whatever. We can talk about that. I would say, I'm fine with keeping it at 7,500, that if the board has seemed to be comfortable with that, and not changing it, we can table it, until next month or subsequent months.
Because it's
or
going
whatever.
up to 25,000.
25,000, so
that's-
we have to go out for bid, that's required by statute.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
I would suggest let's table this because, one, it's conjecture about what their mindset was and their perspective. And I think that, just that the discussion we were just having with the 3, I think that's worth at least having with the majority of the board. We do have a quorum, but just including
Yeah,
some
no,
people
that's
in
totally
the
fine.
policy.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I can see their point with all those things that we're expecting with the exterior and everything like that to expedite the process so you can approve. I see where their mindset was. Not saying that we don't trust your judgment, we do. But I just I would like to make sure that we.
Yeah, no, I mean, it totally makes sense. I mean, that's one of the major jobs is the financial accountability, and it's whatever the board has to feel comfortable with. And I'm not taking it at all that you don't trust me, so it's whatever you guys feel comfortable with. And that, the other thing as I'm looking this over is that we can look at this and, we kind of take one number and we use that throughout, but I mean, we can make it more granular as a policy if we want to do that, if the board feels more comfortable with that. But yeah, I think that tabling it then is probably fine.
Okay. So, Well, we did discuss them without even opening the motion,
Oh,
so,
sorry.
that's okay, that was my fault too. So, so at this point, I'll make a motion to approve the, revisions recommended for the capital assets, interlibrary loan, library card registration policy, and proctoring policy. Should we put in the minutes that we are tabling?
Yes,
spending?
because they are on there, it is on there as an agenda.
So let's do
item,
this
you'll have
motion
to-
of approving these, review, these, 1, 2, 3, 4 policies.
I'll second.
Did you say I'm ready about the spending policy?
So let's do this, so we open up this motion to approve. Yeah, so we'll do it separate.
So this is just ending with proctoring. Okay. Pelletier, yes. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Hussein?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes. And so, let the minutes show that we are tabling the spending policy?
Yeah, that's all you need to do, exactly.
To be continued, so.
Do we have to vote on, do we vote on that one or just?
You're just agreeing to table it. Yeah, you have to vote
So,
on it.
yeah, we'll figure.
Yeah,
we'll
and we
figure
met
that
at the beginning of July, so I'm a little,
out. Sure.
I'm trying, like, okay, what was the discussion? Because it was that recommendation came from them, so I'm trying to remember what their thinking was.
And we don't wanna speak
So-
for them, we want to
Right,
be
yeah.
able to, you know.
No, I think it absolutely makes sense, and I think too, looking it over and, addressing some of your concerns is that maybe that's not as clearly written as we want it to be as well, so we can look at making some of those adjustments, and I'll work on that as well,
Okay.
so that that's spelled out a little bit more clearly, because I don't think the intent was ever that whatever was between this dollar amount and the bid amount was the only ones that we were gonna go
Yeah.
for bid for. So I
Yeah.
don't think that was ever the intent
Uh-huh.
Right.
of that, so this doesn't really clearly reflect that very
Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah.
so.
So will you meet with the policy committee
I-
and then change that? And then
I will
does that
probably
change
do
before?
some review of like area library spending policies and I'll probably have Frank look at over it as well,
Mhm.
just to make sure. And then probably what I will do is, if I do make any additional changes, we'll bring it back to the September meeting and we'll just treat it as a,
The policy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the whole board can
And the whole
consider it
board,
at
since the
that point.
policy committee has reviewed it, we've
Right.
seen it, so we.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And to ask you a question, I know we're not really in the swing of fixing all of these or really starting to have the renovation projects, but are you getting a lot of, are you seeing more and more of your time being taken up by having to go through bid processes and submitting these things for our approval?
Sure, that will absolutely happen, but that's my job. I mean, it's gonna be a priority as we start the renovations that are being recommended. Certainly, any roof work we'll do this year. Every year for the next several years, we'll have a couple of major things, so that we can make sure that the building is addressed appropriately. So,
This is part of the reason why you brought on John and.
right, I mean,
Too,
so like, the kind of the preparation of the bid documents, I don't really have to do much with that. So, I mean, it will take up some of my time,
Yeah,
but
it's a tough
that's
question
my,
to answer,
but
right?
it's my
Something
job.
that's coming down the road is
So-
when it's gonna take up maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, it will, and certainly will take up some of Ed's time and stuff. I'm, looking at potentially making some staffing, kind of organizational adjustments for next year that might free up more of my time to do some of that stuff, looking at, we haven't had an assistant director for a while, I've been looking for a long time at whether or not that's something that we want to go back to, just for different staffing, not different staffing reasons, but for kind of spreading the work out a
Sure,
little
of
bit
course.
more.
Somebody dedicated to it.
As we kind of look at where the priorities are for the library and what needs to be done, but, I think, this is just the part of my job that I'm gonna to focus on now, right? I mean, and then as things, we've got a really strong department manager staff, so I mean, if there's stuff that I need to ask them to do, they can certainly do that. You know, Suzanne's been a great help in terms of all the stuff that I don't have to necessarily think about now with that admin office, and I've been giving her more HR-related things as well, so, for this very reason, so that I can free myself up to deal with some of these building issues. But-
The only reason is, you know, in my day job, I'm a property manager, and it's just, the costs on these kinds of projects, or what used to be considered small or routine maintenance, is just going up and up, you know, it's materials and labor.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
more and more things are gonna meet the threshold.
Yeah, they will, and I think
And I
that,
think-
and I think that was part of what, you know, Tamara and Mark were thinking about too, is that, you know, as costs increase. All that being said,
Right, so suddenly it's like, okay, you have to go out for bid and approval for us to replace.
well, I don't have to
6
go
by
out
6
for
inch
bid.
drywall.
I only have to go out for bid for things that hit a $25,000 threshold, or things that I think are gonna hit that, right? So, and that's why you bring in like the construction management firm, because they can give us a better idea of what something is gonna cost, you know? I can look at something and go, well, I don't, you know, that's gonna cost $10,000, so all I have to do is get 3 quotes, that kind of thing. So we don't have to go out for bid for anything unless it hits $25,000. Obviously, as the price of things goes up, we may hit that more frequently than we would have, say, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever the case may be. It was interesting, it has not happened for libraries, but I think they just raised this limit in Illinois for schools and some other tax-funded organization. They raised it to 30,000. So I don't know if that means they're gonna raise it for everyone else eventually as well, but, you know, it's just something to think about, because it had been 25,000 for everyone as well, and I think some of that is in reaction to the rising cost of things.
Yeah, it's significant, and I don't see it really going back down.
Yeah, I mean,
People
so
talk
I mean,
about-
that's, yeah, I mean, the thing is that it doesn't matter if something hits that threshold, it hits that threshold, and we'll just have to do it. I mean, it's a law. We don't have the option of saying,
Right.
I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't really I mean, for that $25,000 threshold, it doesn't matter what our policy says, right? I mean, so we always have to abide by the law, so we'll just have to
But I
see.
think your question is quite intuitive, because that's something I have said to Pam a number of times. You wear multiple hats, and you wear them well, but it's also okay to be like, I am getting burnt out or whatever, and I need the assistance to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so I mean, there's certainly some of that happening. You know, I'm looking at everything all the time. I'm always looking at the staffing levels and what makes the most sense for the library and serving the public and making sure that the building lasts and all those other things. So, yes, we'll just have to see. I mean, you know, the other thing that we've noticed with pandemic and talking about getting free quotes and those kinds of things is that it has become increasingly difficult to get anyone to respond to inquiries and stuff like that, because people are either so busy or for whatever reason. So, you know, more so than things going out to bid, quite frankly, it's been really difficult to get people to come out and quote us on things. I mean, and we're not alone. I mean, that's the case for everyone. I would imagine that you're seeing that as well.
I'm trying to get a tree chopped down, and I'm
Yeah.
chasing these landscapers like
Yeah.
my money is not good.
All right, exactly. I mean, it's, and you
To
think
come out
I
and
want
give
to
me a
throw
quote.
money at you, why are you not returning my calls?
Yeah.
But it's so prevalent across all, you know, industries, it seems like, so that's actually a bigger deal for us than, you know, we're gonna have to go out for bid and those kinds of things. It's getting someone to come out and look at those things that are $7,000 or whatever, and, you know, I wanna get some comparisons and stuff. It's just really, it's been really tough. I mean, there's been a couple of things where we're like, okay, we've gotten one person that's coming back to us, but if it's work we have to get done, we have to do it, right? I mean, that's what's really difficult. So, but it's, again, that's not unique to us, and it's just one of those things that we're just gonna have to get through, I think, so. But, yeah, well, someone I asked for, you know, 12 new staff people or something like that, but, you know, it's just, it's just kind of figuring out what's the best kind of staffing model and where do my energies need to go, and understanding that, you know, the facilities assessment really brought a lot of things to light that we need to deal with, and so I know that in the next few years, that has to be my priority, is the building and making sure that it continues to serve the, you know, the library and the residents as best we can make it. But thank you for being understanding about it, because it
Well, yes,
does.
and I don't wanna unduly tie your hands with a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, no, I don't think that, I mean, even if we didn't change anything on the spending policy, it doesn't really, it's not really tying my hands. I mean, the board has been super supportive and, you know, I mean, and quite frankly, if there was truly an emergency, I mean, right, and it says in the policy, I mean, I'm gonna do what I have to do, and then,
Right.
I mean, obviously.
I get that.
you know,
Also
it's like-
add in, as you're kind of doing your research with that too, like, you know, if, you know, you had suggested 10,000, and I don't know if that was because, based on a few past circumstances, that this was really cumbersome or something like that, but if there's something like that we should also be made aware of, like, that can also help as well, you
Okay.
know, so.
Yeah.
I think you said without actually checking though, that on average, people are at 10 or 12.
Yeah, it's at 10 or 12. I'll pull that together so that we've got, I mean, right, I mean, I don't want to just, it's always good to have data to
Yeah.
make up your decisions, right?
Data
That's
points,
like-
yeah.
I think that's not like flying by the seat of my pants. I'll pull all that together as well so the board can see, because there was quite a few libraries that responded to that, so it was really interesting. A number of the directors on the email list sort of commented that, you know, it was really helpful to see that because, you know, there are some libraries that have no limits, it's just, it's kind of up to the bid amount, right? And then there's others that it's like, unless it's been budgeted for, they have to go to their board for everything. So it's just kind of, but the majority of people kind of fell in that middle range, and it was about 10 or 12,000. But I'll pull that together so that you've got all that information as well.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Thank you. All right, well, communications, and we got, a lovely letter from the Secretary of State that the per capita here.
So we got approved, or
We got
awarded
approved.
the grant. We haven't gotten the
I should
money.
say. We got the letter. The checks are slower.
Actually, we'll need to check Suzanne and Illinois funds to see if it came through, but I haven't heard, usually when we start getting the money, everyone on the director email list says, oh, did you get your money, did you get your money? So there's like, you know, 75 directors talking about whether or not they haven't got their money.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll double check, but. you
Is
know,
this
we
a
got it.
normal, the normal amount?
This is the normal amount. There's a couple, this is higher, well, it's higher than the amounts we've been getting for two reasons. 2020 census, the Morton Grove population increased by about 2,500 people, something like that. So,
Summit Station went up.
it's now 25,067 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, is it right there? Okay, yes, so there it is. And then also, I believe it was last year, meaning last year or the year before, but within the last couple of years, the amount per capita awarded from the state had gone up a little bit. So this 37,000 is probably what we will continue to see if the state remains relatively solvent. Which is nice, because it's almost 10, because I think normally we got about 29,000, so it's almost a $10,000 increase, so.
Nice.
It's especially nice when you get the money. So
Yeah.
when that happens.
That'll be even better. Yes, yes. All right, so public comments, non-agenda items, there's still just us. I have 7:53. Meeting adjourned.